Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jen, this is Barlow, and this is views from my backyard. He's eating green beans. He likes to get snacks out of the garden. That's one of his things that he enjoys, is whatever I can feed him from the garden that's safe for him to eat. I've got another piece for you. So I figured I would come on and talk about where I plan on bringing this channel. I know I've done a video similar to that before, and it's hard for me to pick a particular niche because there's a lot of stuff that is kind of along the same lines, but it's also hard to pick one or the other. Say, like, I want to have an only gardening channel, but I have a lot of other things that I do too, such as foraging and prepping. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm calling it sustainability with a side of prepping on a budget and frugality mindset. So basically, I am going to continue the gardening content. Not necessarily doing how-tos, but discussing how I'm doing things and what I'm experiencing. And maybe you can relate to some of these things, and maybe some of these things can serve as a help for you. Foraging, I am very interested in. It is a little hard for me to do videos of foraging, and being slightly controversial as far as making sure that you are foraging the right plant that you want to forage. So basically, my gardening, I'm going to get into the garden tours, prepping methods, diverse crops, composting, harvesting, and storage. Foraging, food and herbs for medicine and what they're good for. Like I said, it's a little controversial because it's not mainstream, and I'm absolutely in no way offering medical advice or saying, take this herb, it'll get rid of this ailment. No way am I saying that. You do need to be able to use your own judgment with those kind of things, and 100% be able to identify the plant that you're foraging. My next thing that I would like to also touch into is prepping. A lot of what I do in prepping is food storage, stockpiling, methods that I have. I have been thinking a lot lately about things such as bug in, bug out, and what I think about primarily, I work about 45-ish minutes away from my house, so something that I would need in my vehicle to get home. Also, my pet is one of my priorities. If I'm prepping for myself, I need to also prep for him as well. Living frugally. That's another way. Living on a budget. I feel that the whole quote-unquote homesteading type of sustainability mindset is also based in frugality. These are all of these things are intertwined. Home projects, stuff that I'm doing around the house, that's all intertwined with the frugality mindset and preparing for things. I mean, I wouldn't have put in my own chimney pipe if I could have afforded to have somebody else do it. You know, it was some of these things that maybe to give some encouragement that yes, you can do these things. It is possible if you are interested in being frugal and not necessarily paying somebody to do it. There are things that I absolutely will pay people to do. For instance, in the dead of the winter, I will pay somebody to change my oil in my truck. I'm not interested in crawling under there. So something like that, you know, prioritizing what types of things you can do yourself and what types of things you really need either help with or have some professional do it. And land and property improvements. I have quite a bit of acreage here, and it's been a while since I've done a lot of things. I mentioned that I used to have cattle, and that's where I'm getting my soil for my garden from, is where my cows used to stand and eat. And so I do have quite a bit of pasture area. I no longer intend to have cattle, but some of the fences are still up. So some of the things I want to get into with that is not necessarily clearing my pasture again, but going through and taking down the fences, cleaning up areas, making the pasture so that it's semi-accessible for me to go in there with my vehicle. I am in the process of cooking one of my favorite summer veggies, so I need to go tend to that for a second. Okay. I am making one of my favorite, excuse you, I am making one of my favorite summertime dishes. I am sauteing green beans on the grill, and what I like to do is throw my cast iron pan on there, throw on some butter and some water, get it nice and boiling, and then throw the green beans in and cook them until they're not black, but they've got quite a bit of brownness and they're soft, and the water will help steam them and the butter helps saute them. It's one of my favorite things to do. And although I don't want to become like a recipe channel where I'm showing stuff like that, I love to give out tips for quick and easy dinner ideas, because let's face it, I'm lazy, and if I can make my life a little easier, I will. Now, where was I? I was at the home projects and talking about what things you can do on your own and what things you could get help with. I am planning on continuing showing off home projects that I'm doing. Oh, I was at land and property. That's where I was. Land and property improvements. So I was talking about my pasture and how I'm not thinking about clear cutting it or even close to clear cutting it, but clearing away so that I can get back and forth on it by foot or by my truck. It's grown up quite a bit with a lot of popple trees, and so I want to get those out of there so I can have access to it, and they're good for my outdoor wood cooking unit that I have underneath my shed, which is one of my prepping hideout things. It's like a large rocket stove, I guess you could call it. But I also like to have fires outdoors and things like that. So cutting some of those logs down and storing those is probably going to be good for that kind of thing, so I don't use my firewood that I'm using for the winter. Cooking and canning, preserving things, those all kind of mesh into the gardening and prepping and foraging. I don't necessarily want to show a lot of it, but I want to talk about those processes and why they're important. Food storage, being able to sustain yourself and to save a harvest, and even if you don't use it at that moment, save it so you can use it at a later date, I feel is extremely important for sustainability and for preparing for the worst. I also try to make my own skincare products, and while I don't show the whole process on those, I do want to talk about those, because that's also another kind of a healthy living thing, but not necessarily like a whole topic that I want to get into. But all of these things that I've mentioned they all kind of run into one thing, or the same thing in a sense, if you think about it that way. So that is where I am going to head with this channel, and I still want to do shorts, shorts and videos of things that I find kind of interesting and beautiful around the property. And everybody really likes the shorts that I do of Barlow, so if he does interesting things, which there are times he does and times he doesn't do things that I would think are worthy of putting up as a video, but people seem to click on the dog shorts. Oh, he's gonna hit the camera. Barlow, you are a pain in the ass. But you're a beautiful pain in the ass, and everybody loves you. I should probably show the brushing of your mass quantities of hair, and that when I brush you, I have an extra dog laying around on the ground outside. So that is where I am essentially headed with this channel. I thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Again, my name is Jen, and this is Views from My Backyard.